Yes. The life of a black content creator who is aware is an exciting one indeed. On this hand, you get to be a coon, a sambo, a pick-me, a token. Ooh, it's so exciting. And on this hand, you get to be a statistically violent savage with no culture who is a hypocrite on top of everything else. Yes, I think it's fair to say that Operation Black Fatigue is in full effect, brought to us by our friends at the American Society of Magical Liberals. But don't feel left out, my white brothers and sisters, because for you, wherever you go, no matter what you do, you are called racist. Yes, nobody is coming out nicely these days. In the public eye, in the public perception, and somehow we believe that we are supposed to be natural enemies. Yes, the psyop is in full effect. It's all around us. It's in the biggest and the smallest of things. And today, I'd like to talk to you about the Rocketeer. What's up, guys? This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. I hope all is well with you. And yes, I want to talk to you guys about Disney Plus's project that they announced something like 4 years ago, the Rocketeer. All right. Now, as usual with everything that they're reimagining these days, the Rocketeer was to be reimagined for modern audiences. And I think we all know what that is. That's part of what's got this whole fatigue thing happening. You got black fatigue, you got white fatigue. We're supposed to be enemies. We're counting down to the race war. Like, it's all bullshit, man. But as I said before, it's part of a psyop. And this is just like some minuscule ingredient that they put in there where they're doing all of this race swapping stuff. Like, all of this is put into the mix to make us feel like we're just fed up with everything. You know what I mean? But in this story, I see a little bit of a glimmer of hope, okay? Because apparently plans for the Rocketeer reboot or reimagining have been scrapped. All right, now let's talk about this, guys. This is on the, what is this? The Sci-Fi and Fantasy Gazette, right? And we're going to start with the headline that says, Disney Plus's Return of the Rocketeer has been grounded amidst shifting DEI landscape, says David Oyelowo. First announced in August 2021, the long gestating reboot of The Rocketeer for Disney Plus has finally been put on ice, says David Oyelowo. Wasn't he in, I don't know, you've seen him around, guys. He's a busy actor. Actor, director, and producer David Oyelowo has provided a disheartening update on the status of the Return of the Rocketeer, the sequel/reboot project in development at Disney Plus. In a recent interview with the LA Times, Oyelowo revealed that the film is among several of his projects that have been effectively canceled due to the evolving political climate and a perceived shift away from prioritizing diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI, initiatives within the entertainment industry. Oyelowo, who was set to executive produce and star in the revival, stated, this is Oyelowo, we gained traction with that project in the wake of the George Floyd murder. We gained traction with that project in the wake of the George Floyd murder. Okay, guys, that tells you right there, there's something wrong, okay? You're trying to get a movie or a project like The Rocketeer going. What the hell does George Floyd have to do with that? You know what I mean? That tells you right there that your whole initiative was bogus, right? You're trying to climb up on the corpse of a dead man. Remember, I told you in many videos, nobody loves dead black men. Like, black men are not valuable to even black people until we're dead. Oh, you got a dead black man. You know what? Let's get our project greenlit. So we gained traction with that project in the wake of the George Floyd murder, and in a moment where there was a cultural correction and people seemed to want to do better. Okay, but now we're in a moment where it's evident that a lot of that was performative and not bone deep. Yeah, I actually did that video like 2 years ago where I was trying to talk about how everything these studios were doing was performative. They weren't really about that life. It was all virtue signaling. We've been talking about this for years. Wake up. Welcome to the party, pal. So he had this revelation. We're in a moment where it's evident that a lot of that was performative and not bone deep. Projects like that suddenly became challenged. Onyeko being one, and Return of the Rocketeer at Disney being another. Now, first announced in 2021, Return of the Rocketeer was intended to introduce a black female lead. Of course! Who would take over the iconic Rocketeer mantle from Cliff Secord, played by Billy Campbell back in the 1991 film. Of course, the original Rocketeer was a white man, and of course, in 2021, when this was first announced, it was reimagined with a black female, right? And somehow we think that's a good thing. Guys, this is what's led to this so-called black fatigue thing. You can't keep doing this over and over and over and over and over and over again and think that people aren't going to start to roll their eyes. You know what I mean? Here's another one. Once again, like I said before, America's favorite N-words. That's us. Novelties. That's us. We're gimmicks. Oyelowo and his wife were instrumental in developing the project as executive producers, with Oyelowo also slated for a significant on-screen role. Jessica Jones writer Ed Rycourt initially penned the script. All right, the project appeared to be progressing along, albeit at a slow clip, with the most recent update in October 2023 confirming that Sylvie's Love filmmaker Eugene Ash was brought in to write a new iteration of the script. However, Oyelowo's recent comments suggest that the film is now stalled, a casualty of what he describes as a retreat from genuine commitment to diverse storytelling. Okay, well listen guys, real diverse storytelling is made by real diverse people who are doing some real original diverse writing. Okay, you can't hijack somebody else's brainchild and pass that off as diversity. It doesn't work, because ultimately people are going to go back, they're going to see the original, and you're going to create a market and a need and a curiosity for that original. Now, the original Rocketeer film was released in 1991. It was based on a comic book series created by writer-artist Dave Stevens in 1982. And following Stevens' passing in 2008, his estate licensed the property to IDW Publishing, continuing the legacy of the high-flying jetpack hero. So this is where we are, guys. So it looks like the Return of the Rocketeer has been scrapped. And guys, honestly, it's a good thing. It's for the best, as I like to say on X. It's for the best. I'm glad to see all of these things that were going to be hijacked, that were going to be bastardized. I'm glad to see them fail, because ultimately the world needs to remember that black people can be creative. Black people can be original. Black people can actually do something outside of the shadow of white people. This is the kind of thing that we are perpetuating onto ourselves and our children when we continue to show them that they can't do anything original. They have to keep on hijacking what other people do, aping what other people do. No pun intended. I ain't that racist dude, bro. But I'm just saying, I don't know what to think about that. Anyway, the point is that it's ridiculous, right? I'm glad to see it fail. If they couldn't do Blade right, I'm glad to see it fail. If they can't do Black Panther right, I'm glad to see it fail. Like, all of these things, they're not showcasing the creativity and the value of black creativity. They're just not doing that, you know? So there it is, guys. You know, the Rocketeer, or the Return of the Rocketeer, has flopped. It's been shelved in the wake of this pushback against DEI, in the wake of this so-called black fatigue thing. All right. And it's wild. It's like I said in the intro, they're giving us this illusion that black and white people are natural enemies. On this side, there's black fatigue. On that side, it's white supremacy. And we're all just supposed to be fighting each other all the time, man. You know, we had actually gotten past this a long time ago, probably back in 1991 when the original Rocketeer film was released. Back then, we are not natural enemies. But there it is, guys. And this is the reason why I'm glad. I'm glad to see the return of the Rocketeer fail, to see it flop. We don't need to be buying into this concept anymore, that we need to be reimagining and blackfacing and everything. Get back to work. Get back to the work of creativity. Get back to the work of originality. Get back to the work of innovation. Show people, okay? Stop telling people. Stop making these bold declarations. Show people what you got. The same way that I show you what I got every time I rock this mic. I am the gospel according to Mark with a C. You can like, you can share, you can subscribe, you can hit the super thanks feature in each and every one of my videos, and you can come back and watch me again. Thank you. Rock on.